Hello magical lovelies and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Leslie and today we're going to be making Newfoundland 3-knot bread without the knots. This loaf will make 5 dozen loaves of bread plus 2 or 3 dozens of buns. It's a very tasty recipe. I've got most of the things laid out here ready to go. So right now I'm just melting the butter, which I got to check on. 1 second. Perfect. Okay, so I've got some water here in the oven, just staying a little bit warm for our yeast, because you don't want your water too hot, it will kill your yeast. So here we have 2 tablespoons of sugar, 6 3/4 of teaspoons of yeast, and 1.5 cups of water. So we're just going to add this all together. I'm going to give that a quick stir. Ew, this spoon is gross. It's the difference between using the kids' utensils and my own. So just going to give this a quick stir. Mix it all together. And then we're going to pop this back in the oven under the light to let it proof for 10 minutes. So how was your weekend? I hope you all really enjoyed it. I know I did. We had some beautiful weather this weekend, so I was out power washing my deck and getting some plants in the ground and just sitting out there and enjoying the nice weather. It's a little overcast today, but the sun's been trying to break through. And it's supposed to be nice again tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be able to get out there and get some more planting done. Does anyone else think this looks a little like mud? I always do until it starts foaming. It doesn't want to come off the spoon. Alright, so we're going to pop this in the oven and let that start proofing. And in the meanwhile, we're going to start mixing our dough. We're just going to cover that so that it heats up a little better. Set our timer for 10 minutes. And by the time we get our dough mixed, that should be ready to go. So in this blue bucket here, I have 16 cups of flour. We have 8 teaspoons of Himalayan salt, though I'll probably only use 7 because otherwise it will make the bread quite salty. We have a 1/2 cup of sugar, 6 cups of water, and my tea. Alright, so we're going to start by adding our dry ingredients. So we got our 1/2 cup of flour. And we're just going to sift that in there so it's all nice and mixed before we start adding our wet. So that was our 1/2 cup of sugar. I'm just going to take one of these teaspoons of salt out because I think that'll be too salty because we're using salted butter. And I will just keep this inside in case we do decide to add it. So here we have 7 teaspoons of Himalayan salt because of the trace minerals. Just makes everything a little healthier. We're going to add that in. We're going to mix that together. And we've got about 8 minutes left on our dough to proof. Or for our yeast to proof, sorry. So while that's proofing, we're going to go ahead and pre-oil our pans, just because it'll save time later. Have a little bit of olive oil here, extra virgin. Good. And this will just prevent stickage once you roll out your loaves and put them in your pan. And we're also going to prep our trays for buns. So what I use these are oven liner trays. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a piece of parchment down on this. And we use the oven liner because I can fit more buns on it and get it done twice as fast as having to do a dozen at a time on a regular sized cookie sheet. So if you're not familiar with using parchment, it can be a bit of a pain in the butt to get it to lay flat on your trays. So you can crunch it, pull it out again, crunch it the other way, and then pull it smooth and it lays a little flatter. So now we're going to take our pans with our oil in it, and we're just going to smush it around with our fingers, making sure that we get all the edges and all the corners so that your bread dough doesn't get stuck in there. Mystica, enough! Sorry, my puppy in the background barking at someone on a bike going past. Just gotta let the whole neighborhood know what's up. Isn't that right, Ka? You gotta let the whole neighborhood know what's up. Okay, so that's one. You could also add a little bit of flour on top of your oil to help make your bread come out a little easier out of the pans. I don't find that that's necessary. The dough will be coming away from the pan a little bit as it does cook. This is more just like a safety precaution, and it helps your dough get that nice crunchy sides to it. Got 4 more minutes left on the proofing of the yeast. Okay, now I just gotta wash my hands. before we start kneading our dough, you want to make sure that you take any jewelry off your hands or wrists because it is a messy job. Reminder to myself more than anything, because I always tend to leave my rings on. Got 3 more minutes left on the proofing. I'm just going to wash my spatula here to get the butter out of that container. And since we're almost ready for the yeast, I'm going to go ahead and start adding the butter and the water. So this didn't quite melt all the way down, but it's pretty good, so we'll just run with it. Just going to quickly wash these. Find it's always easier to tidy up as you go, and it saves you a big mess at the end. Alright, so we got our butter in. We've got about 2 minutes left on the proofing. So I'm just going to mix this butter in here. Get that all nice and incorporated. Ooh, 1 minute left. So in case any of you are wondering, I got this big blue bowl at Walmart. I think it was about $8. It is freaking awesome for making bread because all the dough just comes right off the edge and it's so easy to wash. And if you don't feel like washing it and you let it sit on your counter and it dries, then the dough just flakes off once it's dry. It's so easy. Oops, I just sprayed myself with flour. But hey, at least I found my apron this time. Alright, so we got 17 seconds. Alright. And it looks like it's risen so much that it's on my cloth. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah. All over my cloth. Yum. See if I can rescue a bit of this. Good thing for having clean stuff. We're leaking everywhere. Mystica, enough. process here. Ooh. Got some yeast in the bread pan. There we go, problem solved. And just quickly wash these up. Now we're going to add our 5 to 6 cups of water. I'm just going to go ahead and add the whole thing because I can always add more flour if needed. And your dough is going to feel really wet and sticky at first. Once you get it out onto the board, but the more you knead it, the less stickier it'll get. Oh, I don't know if I remembered to say this was 16 cups of flour, but this is 16 cups of flour. If you've never seen one of these whisks that I'm using, it's called a Danish dough whisk. This thing is awesome. It's so much easier than using a spatula. This is what it looks like. A little nifty little tool. It's become one of my favorite baking items. So as you can see, there's still a little bit of flour left in there. That's okay. It'll mix in once you start kneading it. So I got this silicone mat here from Amazon. It works really well. Keep the counters clean, and it's really simple to wash. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to lightly dust our surface with some flour. This will help prevent the dough from sticking to the counter and to the mat. You don't want to use too much of it because it will make your dough thick if you do. Mr. Cat, out of the way, please, pup. So we're gonna take our dough. usually do this on the table because I have more space to work with. So as you can see, not much stuck. Let's get out of the way, baby girl. And we're just going to get in here and we're going to start kneading it till all our flour is incorporated. And you want to knead it once all your flour is incorporated for about 10 minutes. Oh, Mystica, out of the way. I just dropped a piece. You can't eat that, baby girl. Go lay down, please. Go lay down. Mess. So if you find that your dough is too sticky, or too dry, I mean, you can at this point add a little bit more water, but I would advise you to just keep working it and see how it does after a few minutes, because you get some spots that are really sticky and some that are really dry. We're starting to stick to the mat. Okay, so now that we got almost all the flour incorporated, we're now going to start our timer for 10 minutes and knead it for 10 minutes. This takes a little bit of muscle. It's my arm workout for the day. The way I see it, it'll make me stronger for lifting plants, right? And the more you knead it, the easier it'll get. You just want to keep pulling it towards you and pushing it away. This mat's not working too good on this counter, but it works good on the table. I think at this point I might just put it right on the counter anyways. I know what I'll do. I'll turn it around and hold it with my belly. That should work. Nope, I'm just going to flip it right out onto the counter. This is just frustrating me. 1 second, I need a little bit of flour. As you can see, the more I'm working it, the smoother it's getting. I'll pull you a little closer so you can actually see. Hard work. I've got a few more minutes left to knead this. I'm just going to throw some olive oil in the bottom of the bread bowl because that's going to go into the oven to proof for a second time. Mr. Cook, get out from underneath me, babe. Oh, there's a doggy here. The fun and joys of baking with pets. So we got 4 more minutes left on the timer. And I'm starting to really sweat. Guess that's why they say, you know, your blood, sweat, and tears goes into your baking, as well as all those either happy or sad feelings that you're experiencing. In my culture, you're not supposed to cook or bake when your mind is in chaos. You're supposed to be peaceful and prayerful and put good feelings into your food. So if you start getting frustrated or mad, it's not turning out the way you want it to, take a break for a few minutes. It won't harm your bread. Well, excuse me. You can overproof it, but at this point, it's okay to leave for a minute. If you have to, and you need to take a longer break, you can stick it in the fridge, put a little bit of oil on it, stick it in the fridge so it doesn't dry out. Putting it in the fridge will stop the yeast from continuing to proof. And then when you're ready to start again, bring it back out, let it come up to room temperature, and then you can finish working it. As a spoonie, and being disabled, I've had to do that a few times where it was just too much for me to keep going. So I have to take a break, and that's okay. We got about a minute left. And as you can see, it's used up all the flour and it's no longer sticking to the counter, which is good because that means less mess for me to clean up after. See, the more you stretch it, the more your gluten structure happens. Keeps your bread light and fluffy. But if you over knead it, it can make your dough really thick and dense. I'm not exactly sure why or how that works. I guess it's chemical reactions and all that within the yeast and the gluten. I'd have to look into that. Okay, 40 seconds left. All right, that's 10 minutes done. This is what the dough's looking like. So we got some olive oil in our bowl here. Mix the dough around. Get it all nice and coated with that olive oil so the dough doesn't dry out. A bit more than that. Just make sure it's all nice and coated. And then we're gonna cover this with our yeasty towel. Clean side down. And our other clean towel. And we're gonna pop this in the oven proof for an hour and a half. Drop the rack down. And there's yeast on this oven tray, so I'm just going to give that a quick rinse. So that's it for now. See, I'm all hot and sweaty. It's hard work. So I'm gonna tidy up and I will see you in an hour and a half when it's time to punch down and form loaves. We'll see you soon, lovelies. Hello, magical lovelies. Welcome back. Our timer's going off, so it's time to punch down our bread and start forming our loaves. Doesn't that look lovely? As you can see, it's doubled in size, which is perfect. So we're going to move our rack back up to the middle of our oven. And we're going to check our degrees. I believe it's 350. Yes, 350. So we're going to start our oven preheating. And we're going to punch this down and start forming our loaves. So you just want to collapse it into the center. Peel your dough away from the edge of the bowls. Look at how beautiful that looks. I'm just going to bring it in here. We're going to form our loaves first so that they can start rising, because the buns take a little bit to make them. So we're just going to take a nice sized handful of dough, pinch it off. Yeah, this looks like a good amount. We're going to form it into a log. Pinch your undersides together. Like that. So that your seam is on the bottom. Roll your ends in, and then we're just going to toss it into our pan. Like so. Oh, I don't know if you were able to see that. Like that. And then we're going to let it rise again for another half hour. So that's 2. There's 3. You just want to work the ends in like this. Nice little shape. Okay, and just like that, we've got our 4 loaves in. Now you can oil the tops if you want to help them prevent drying out. I find that makes your crust a little crustier. We prefer a soft crust. So we're just gonna line these up here so they're all nice and together. And we are going to cover them with our tea towels. And we're just gonna let those rise for another half hour. Put the clean side down, because remember we got the yeast on there earlier. Okay, and then we're gonna start forming our buns. Let's drop you down a little bit here so you can see. And you just take a small handful, depending on how big you want your buns. I'm also going to try and do some hot dog buns, because I haven't tried making those yet. How big is a hot dog? don't know, oh, what, that big? Try a couple of those, see if that works. And it's basically, you just form it the same way as you do your bread loaf. And I think I'm just going to do 6 of these. This one's a little short. I'm going to stretch that out just a bit. I don't know, should I separate these a little bit? Because they're going to rise and puff up a bit. At least I know the buns do. The regular size buns do. This is my first time trying to make some hot dog buns, but let's see how those work. I don't like the way this one looks. Let me fix it again. That's better. Okay, so there we got it. 6 little hot dog buns. We'll see how those turn out once they rise. And now we're just gonna make some regular sandwich buns. And for these, you're just gonna keep folding in from the top. So you got a nice smooth surface. Pinch your bottoms together. And we're just going to roll them in our hands like this, pulling it down, giving us a smooth surface. You can also roll them on the counter, but I don't bother with that. That's just more effort than I care to put into it. So what did you guys all have for dinner? I haven't eaten yet. I'm going to be making prawns with some bay seasoning, soy sauce, lemon or lime juice. I haven't used bay seasoning before, so it's new to me. I figured I'd give it a try. So for your buns, you want about a palm size thing of dough, depending on how big you want your buns. We like ours fairly large. So this is the most common bread recipe that I use so far. I also do have a French bread recipe that's really good. I'll show you guys how to do that once this bread's all eaten. If you have another recipe that you like, please feel free to share. Drop it in the comments, and I will test it out. I'm in the kitchen. I'm on live.
Alright.
Well, not live, but recording. What's up?
Last time the hair dye I bought was very bright red. Didn't really come out the way I wanted it. So this time I'm trying a different color red.
That's my favorite shade of red.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one and Fire Engine. I really like the Fire Engine red too.
I might keep the top of my head, the bottom of my hair black and just dye the top of it
like do like an ombre
and have it go shading down to black, my original hair color, I guess.
That'd be cool.
Because I'm just mainly trying to keep the top of my head cool
from the sun.
Yeah.
Well, you know that's why they make hats too, right?
Well, here's the thing. Hats they get me warmer. Having something wrapped around my body makes my body heat warmer for some reason.
Even when you use those hats with the netting?
Yeah.
Okay.
My forehead would get really sweaty and warm in the front because only the back would have the netting.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't take me too long to make the buns this time. We've still got 20 minutes rise to go. So, once I'm done forming these buns, I guess I'll let these finish rising. And we will see you all once the bread comes out. So the bread's going to go in for 35 to 40 minutes, depending on how hot your oven is. And the buns are going to go in from between 25 and 35 minutes. So here we got 5, 10. So we got a dozen buns, 6 hot dog buns, and 4 loaves of bread this time around. Of course, it differs a little every time, depending on, how big you make your buns and whatnot. So use your judgment. Alright, so now I gotta cover these. And these need to rise for a half hour as well. And look, almost nothing stuck to the bowl. So nice. just like that. All my dough is pretty much up, and I just got to give it a quick rinse now with some soap. So much easier than scrubbing all the dough stuck to the aluminum bowls, stainless steel ones. And this way, when you can pull it up like this, all these little dough scraps can go into the compost, and I don't have to worry about the dough clogging up my pipes. So, okay, there's 18 minutes left. Sorry. 18 minutes left on this dough to rise. So we will see you once the bread comes out. We'll see you soon. So we had a faulty oven here for a second. It wasn't preheating properly. I didn't turn the dial all the way, so I have to wait a few more minutes and hopefully that'll catch up. In the meanwhile, I am starting my prawns. I've got some butter in a pan down here, and for my marinade I've got Worcestershire. Hi, Whisper. We got Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, Old Bay seasoning, and lime juice. Sorry, my daughter-in-law is playing with the cat there and decided she needed her own little screen time.
I just don't like my face being shown.
That's fine. So these aren't going to take too long to cook. Prawns only take about 5 to 10 minutes on a medium-low heat. This is my first time cooking them in my cast iron, so it's a learning experience. Just going to quickly wash up my marinade container and lid. Oh, sounds like my boy's home. Oh, nope, it's my hubby. What's up? Oh, yes. The money is in my wallet, in my purse. Oh, my son is home too. And we're just waiting for the light on the oven to go off so that we can pop our bread in. Hopefully that goes off any minute now before our bread and buns start getting too overproofed. And we're just going to cook these bad boys till the shells change color. I've got it on about 4.5. These are prawns from my home nation up in Bella Bella. Just one sec, guys. Three for me, one for you. Is that enough? Thank you. We've got the cod down here at my feet. She smells the food. Isn't that right, Mr. Duck? Isn't that right? Hi. Oh, I hope that light hurries up and goes off so I can get these loaves of bread into the oven. I'll just show you what they're looking like here. Risen really nicely. Timer's about to go off. That means our buns have been proofing for a full half hour. Bread has proofed for a half hour. So we are literally just waiting for the oven light to go off. And I think our prawns are going to be done before that light goes off. Smelling pretty good. So I'm on the west coast of BC. Old Bay seasoning is really new to me. It's not something that we get here very often. Ooh, yes, light went off. Bread's going in. I had to order it special on Amazon. Everybody that I've seen in the States that cooks a lot of seafood uses Old Bay, so I thought I would give it a try. So we're going to set our timer for 25 minutes and then we'll check on it. And my prawns look just about done. So I will see you guys in about 24 minutes. Alright guys, we're back and the buns are ready to come out of the oven. And oh my gosh, let me tell you, those prawns were so yummy. I am definitely going to have to do that recipe again, but next time I think I'm going to shell them first. Here we go. Here's my buns. These have been in for about 20 minutes. So I'm just going to check and make sure that this big one here is cooked all the way through. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And they are done. Here's your prawn, son. You gotta try that. Let me know what you think. Yeah, you like that? Yeah. I think those are the best prawns I've ever cooked. So, here's the bread that we did. I just had them covered with a towel because it helps keep the crusts off without having to baste them with butter. We got our buns. Oh, I made you some hot dog buns. And I'll just turn you around here and bring you down. And that's what they look like. So, thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen shenanigans. And we'll see what we get up to next. Thank you, my lovelies. I hope you have an awesome week. And I hope you stay safe, be well, and be kind. Till next time, friends. Love ya.